Hey everyone, it's Mario Time 1000, and yeah, it's another IndyCar video so quickly. I'm just gonna get this out of the way right away because I know attention spans are short, and I'm sure many people will be clicking off this video fairly quickly anyway. So I just want to get this announcement out of the way right here. It's not really an announcement. I mentioned it in the last video, but this is the answer. I'm sure many people will be asking, why am I making IndyCar videos, or just in general, why am I not making the F1 videos? Because that's what I usually do on this channel. And in the last video I mentioned I was in a car crash. To be honest, it wasn't, well, the car crash itself looks super serious. I actually am thinking about making a dedicated video about it, like a documentary type video, but I've got a different documentary in the works right now that we can't talk about. I do plan on making a dedicated video on it eventually, but even though it looked serious, I was fairly uninjured, which was really lucky because I drove a Miata, which almost split in half. But I'm in a neck and back brace right now, and because of that, even though I'm not in a lot of pain, my movement is slightly limited. It's just really sort of looking up and down. That's the problem. But because of that, I don't want to make an F1 diecast video because that's sort of like the core of my channel right now, is making those 2018 F1 diecast videos. If I come across an older F1 diecast, maybe I'll make a video on it up here. But I don't want to do one of the core 2018 videos because I don't think it's going to be as good as it could be because of the looking up and down thing and the perhaps limited movement that I might have. So I'm not even going to risk it. So that is why I'm doing IndyCar stuff. I don't want to just stop making videos forever, even though I did that last year. I want to keep making videos, so I keep giving the people who want to watch this stuff videos to watch. Obviously, there are some people who aren't going to watch it at all, and that's fine. So yeah, that is why I'm making IndyCar videos right now, and it isn't just going to be IndyCar. I've got a NASCAR right here. It's one of the trucks, so I'm really interested in looking at the Truck Series diecasts. I've only got one here. They did do a second one in the Wave, Wave 3, I think, yeah. So, yeah, and also MIS is next week, so I'll probably be going to the practice sessions for that, and I'll probably get more diecasts, which is really great considering I can't work right now, so I'm just sort of burning money. But yeah, intro's long enough. Let's get into the diecast itself. I'll explain blah 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 whatever all about this later. But yeah, let's get into this video. Alright everyone, so in the last video, the Indy 500 diecast haul, I started with the 1/64th scale diecast. These are all the 2018 ones I got in the last video. You can check that video out if you didn't see it. I went to the Detroit Grand Prix, the first Detroit race. Not the second one, which was actually really unfortunate, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video for my thoughts on the Grand Prix itself. I only got one 1/64 scale diecast this time around, and it's a diecast that I sort of already reviewed in the last video. It is Takuma Sato's number 30, and I mentioned that because in the last video I have got the 1/18th scale diecast. Takuma Sato is sort of becoming one of my more favorite drivers that they have diecast for out right now, because Colton Herta, Marcus Ericsson, they don't have diecast yet. Hopefully they do Colton Herta, and hopefully after his second place finish yesterday, they do a Marcus Ericsson diecast, especially because it's literally the same as the James Hinchcliffe. But nevertheless, yeah, Takuma Sato, I like him. I think it's because I'm starting to sound like a broken record now. It's because he spent most of his IndyCar and even F1 career driving for shite teams, and all around, he wasn't that great of a driver, but at least back when he was in F1. But now, he's having like a championship run, and the dude's like 40-some years old, so pretty late in the game for at least IndyCar. People making a championship run usually are not that old, but yeah, it's really cool to see him finally having a good season. He finished third in the Detroit Grand Prix race 1, and then he was running great in race 2, but unfortunately he was involved in some sort of crash. I don't really know what happened because the NBC feed cut out. But yeah, great diecast. Not sure if I'm gonna. Well, okay, not sure if I'm gonna take these out of the boxes yet. I probably should because they'll just look a lot better. So yeah. But this is a nice 1/64 scale diecast. Looks pretty good. I never really mentioned this. I should have cut the video to grab the 1/64 diecast I have that's out of the box. The wheels on these IndyCar diecasts look funny. Look at that. It's a circle steering wheel. Like, Greenlight makes diecasts for a lot of different cars. And it's like they just put a regular car steering wheel in the Indy cars. They look really ridiculous in 1/64 scale. And I do have one 1/64 scale diecast that is out of the box. So I'll probably grab that when I'm cutting the video. And I'll show you that real quickly. But yeah, Takuma Sato, number 30 for Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan. Also, this diecast, or the livery, is different from last season. Barely, but it is different. I mentioned that in the last video where I didn't know. But yep, let's move on to the 1/18 scale diecasts that I got this time around. Alrighty, everyone, let's just ignore the fact that I filmed the beginning of this video like a week ago, and let's move on to our first 1/18 scale diecast. I still can't get that right. It's Alexander Rossi's number 27 for Andretti Autosport. Yeah, probably one of my favorite IndyCar drivers at the moment, and he's kind of a big deal. I think the race at Texas has already passed by now, and that was a very, very impressive drive for him in this race. This diecast, on the other hand, is not very impressive. I'm not particularly impressed with this diecast. Now, I mentioned in the Robert Wickens, those two drivers, they got along very well. That the way they made this diecast was they painted the entire thing, except for probably like the headrest. They painted the entire thing this red color and then painted black over all that red. I think they did the same thing with this diecast. They painted all of it blue and then painted some of the yellow over it. The only problem with that is, for this diecast, they did a really good job covering it up because, they used black. The yellow does not look nearly as good over the blue. It wouldn't be too bad. The only problem is there are some parts on this diecast that they did not paint blue first. Like, for example, the monocoque engine casing right here. This is a lot brighter yellow. You can't really even see it on video, unfortunately. But if you take a look at this yellow up here, it's a lot dimmer because the blue bleeds it, and it's a lot bluer than this yellow right here. This yellow is fairly bright yellow. It looks pretty good. Then you got this, which sort of looks right, but right here, this is not right. You can actually kind of see that on the video, that it's not the same yellow as the roll bar. And then the headrest is also not initially painted blue. It is yellow, so this really sticks out if you look at it, with your eye. And then the Napa logo on the side looks particularly bad. It bleeds over, and also the white. Some of the white is a lot brighter than the other bits of white. You can see that above the P. It goes over it. It's also not on there that good either. And some of the sponsors, like the IndyCar logo, are blue, and 27 is a little blue, which is unfortunate. But still a nice looking diecast. It's a nice looking car in real life. Another thing I noticed is that I feel like the suspension on this, or the tires, are really wonky. I don't think they usually shake this much. If I pull over, they definitely shake a little, but I can definitely, it's almost as if these wheels turn, which is not supposed to happen, especially this one. This one's really messed up. I could probably break that off if I kept shaking it, but still a fairly good looking diecast. Still definitely glad I got it. I'm sure all of them are like this, so I wouldn't have been able to get a good one if I tried, but it is unfortunate that it bleeds through, though. Very impressive driver, great run in Texas. Unfortunately wasn't able to do a whole lot in Detroit. He got the pole for the first race, but the pitch strategy sort of got him out. And then he wrecked in the second race, but was an incredible save and still finished fifth. So yeah, impressive driver. the future of IndyCar, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's move on to the next one. Our next diecast here is Alexander Rossi's current teammate. It is the Ryan HunterReay DHL car. Yes, this is 2018. Realize this now that the Andretti liveries are the same, just different colors, and I'm pretty sure that's for all cars. I don't have any other current Andretti cars, but I'm pretty sure thinking about that's all the same. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. I also like the silver bumper on the front of all these Andretti cars, and I think that's been the way for a while because the silver bumper is on the Dr. Pepper Marco Andretti I got a few weeks ago, but it's a few years old. This is a pretty nice looking car. It sort of breaks the trend with my cars that I've gotten where just about all of them are primary red or primary blue. Obviously the McLaren is, wow, I didn't actually mean to order these by color, but I kind of did. Anyway, we got a lot of red on it. Luckily for this one, the painting is, at least, you can't really notice the bleeding because it probably isn't there, because the initial color would be yellow, and the red would probably cover that up really nicely. Here's the rear. I don't think I showed that on the Alexander Rossi, but it's the same for every car. Weird, the name is right here. Is that right? See, is a name just really on the back right here? Ryan HunterReay. Hunter isn't even... Is it like Honda Tur? That's really weird. I think... Is that an air? I'm gonna have to check back with you on this one because that's really weird. But very impressive driver. Former IndyCar champion, former Indy 500 winner. He started winning a couple of races last year. In fact, he won the Detroit Grand Prix 2 last year, which I was in attendance of. And he also won Sonoma. I don't really remember anything particularly impressive from this year's Detroit Grand Prix, but he did lead the most laps in Texas, although he was on a really wonked fuel strategy. I also like how the Andretti cars have a lot of sponsors on the nose. It was something I didn't realize I was missing until I saw every other car, which had pretty much nothing on the nose. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Not exclusive to Andretti, obviously, but it's the first diecast I've gotten that have a lot of sponsors. Very nice car. I don't know, he's not one of my favorite drivers, but I do like the cars. But you know what? Also, I realized I wasn't looking through the camera, so it might just look like shit right there. But the one problem with this diecast, besides this, which I don't know if that's an air, is the mirror. It is not on correctly, and you can see the inside of it. But that's not too bad. Don't know about this, though. That's really interesting. Anyway, that is the Ryan HunterReay diecast. And now I will move on to the Tony Kanaan I spoiled it. And finally, we are moving on to one of IndyCar's most popular drivers. It's Tony Kanaan, and he's with one of the most famous drivers' team, AJ Foyt. Very, very nice livery on this car. I really like the red, white, and blue. It looks really, really great. I think this car looks probably better than the 4. I'm pretty sure the Matheus Lace car is the same, but like the red and blue are inverted. I think this car looks a lot better, primarily red. But, you know, each of their own, I guess. We got nice white detail on here, and I'm pretty sure the base color for this car would be white, because that makes sense, because white's probably the easiest color to paint over. So we don't have any, like, bleeding like we had on the Alexander Rossi. And, hey, this is a Chevrolet. Haven't picked up a whole lot of those, which is odd, because I think I'd pick up more of those. There's that extra fuel tank. I think I mentioned that in a past video. That's probably an F1 video. Obviously, it's not really an extra fuel tank, but it's interesting that they have that detail there on the Indy cars. Even a Speedway logo right next to it. Once again, I've got quite a few contingency sponsors on the front here. Delara and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, of course, 7-Eleven. I don't remember if it was with AJ Foyt or if it was his last year with Chip Ganassi that they showed off a 7-Eleven primary livery where the primary sponsor was 7-Eleven. I think that was with Chip Ganassi. I know 7-Eleven was an old thing with Tony Kanaan back in the day. I don't remember if he ever actually raced that 7-Eleven livery, though. I don't remember it. This is still a pretty nice car, though. Back marker, though, AJ Foyt. The team itself haven't really been impressive for quite a while. They're usually not, at least last year, Tony Kanaan was very, very good in the Indy 500. Maybe even could have won had he not gotten in that crash. But, now what the fudge is this? Is this Chevy logo supposed to be here? It's not on the other side. I'm really confused by these IndyCar diecasts. I have no idea what's going on here. I'm going to have to look at... It makes no sense it being there because it's not on the other side. But how do you make an error like that? Anyway, Tony Kanaan was pretty good in last year's Indy 500. This year's Indy 500, he was nowhere. I think he finished 9th still. I think so. Which is it's a fairly good run, but I mean, he almost won last year. He was still pretty much nowhere for the entire race. He sort of just outlasted everyone, which is definitely an important piece in the Indy 500, but still nowhere near the pace he was last year. And every other race, he's been nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And AJ Foyt Racing, or AJ Foyt Enterprises itself, has been nowhere. Matthias Leis finished 4th in the Indy GP, and other than that, nowhere. But yeah, nice diecast. I have no idea what's going on with the Chevy logo there. If that's right, if that's correct, that kind of makes no sense at all. I guess I haven't showed any really the underside of these diecasts. They're all the same. So yeah, that is the final 1/18th scale diecast of this video. So let's wrap it up. Well, everyone, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. We looked at our Takuma Sato cars still in the box. I'm probably going to take those out of the box, maybe. And we looked at our 3 1/18th scale Indy cars: Alexander Rossi, HunterReay, and Tony Kanaan. This, I've got one more video, I think, that I'm going to have to make in this dumb format. This in my room, kind of bad, because I don't have a tripod and whatnot. This, I don't know how long I'm going to have to do this for. I hope you guys understand why I'm doing this. And, yeah, F1 stuff will return. I promise you that. Just don't know when. But, yeah, hopefully you guys have been sticking around with this different content. And, I'll see you guys in the next vid, which will not be F1, I don't think. But it will still be racing related. So, haha, there we go. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.